Right alongside minimalism, I'm very passionate about personal finance and frugal living, especially if sharing a few things that I do can help someone else out there. Before I share anything that I do related to money, it's wise of me to mention that I am not a financial expert by any means, so please take all of this with a grain of salt. There's a lot of practical ways of saving money, like cutting out coffee that's literally been said in every YouTube video, including a few of mine. But there's also some practices that include how we behave with money and how we spend our money that have completely halted any progress to be made with saving. So in this video, I'm gonna go over a few things that I do to live more frugally, as well as some rules that I've adopted to help me get a little bit closer to financial freedom. These are a few things that I do to live more frugally. But first, if you're new to my channel, thank you for stopping by. Here we talk about minimalism, frugal living, tech, and things of that nature. So if that sounds good to you, and you end up liking the video, be sure to like, and please seismic toss the subscribe button. Let's get started. More stuff or freedom. The first thing on this list is more of a question that I ask myself rather than a practical, physical first step. And to say that I have to choose between having more stuff or having more freedom might sound a little extreme. What I really mean when I say this is, would I rather have something new or the money that otherwise would have been used on it? Pretty simple. Money might not buy happiness, but in my experience, it does grant me more freedom, especially with my time. Having more money saved and less things in my ownership just overall creates more peace of mind for me. Create a credit card system. A few years ago, I created sort of a personalized system for how I use my credit cards. I know it's commonly talked about among frugal living videos to be very hesitant of using credit cards and stick to using cash, but I think it really depends, and I have a pretty different opinion on that. I will admit in the past, when I would find myself in a financial pinch, I did find it more useful to use cash exclusively because it was easier for me to keep track of, and I just wanted to spend it less. And it was just an easier way of me keeping track of what I actually had. However, I have a few credit cards now, 3 to be exact, that have allowed me to create this system for spending that works for me and might work for some of you. Of my 3 credit cards, one of them earns 1.5% cash back on everything. One earns 5% cash back on rotating categories like groceries and gas. And the third one is my Apple Card, which earns unlimited 2% cash back when using Apple Pay, which I almost do exclusively. The way I look at it is if I'm spending money on something I have to, like food, gas, or a bill, I may as well take advantage of the opportunity to earn a little bit cash back, which 90% of the time I just transfer that cash back right into my savings through the Chase app. This system works particularly well for me because I pay my credit cards off in full each month. I've never paid a single late fee, and I've never had to pay interest. This helped me earn cash back on things I have to buy to survive, like food, as well as helped me get my credit score over 800. Notice the time cost. And this is something that has saved me from a lot of unnecessary, spontaneous purchases. Put simply, before I spend money on something, I think about the amount of hours I had to work to afford whatever that is. For example, if I were making $15 an hour, is getting Chipotle today really worth an hour of my time at work? Sometimes it is. When I started to value my time as a currency, it rarely seemed like a purchase was absolutely necessary. Because I can always make more money, I can never regain lost time. Make more food. Ow. Myself and probably every other frugal video on YouTube has talked about buying groceries and cooking instead of going out to eat to save money. So instead of regurgitating known information, I'll try and change it up just a little bit. Something I started doing very recently is growing my own vegetables. And a lot of my friends and people I know are already doing this, so I understand I'm late to the party. I'm currently growing a few tomatoes as well as some herbs that I plan on using in tea or things like that. Again, I'm fairly new to this, so please don't bash me for growing the easiest things possible. In one of my first videos like 2 years ago, I mentioned how I started baking my own bread. After the ingredient cost, which is pretty cheap in itself, right now it's costing me about 50 cents per loaf. And of course, the quality is something you have to taste to understand. I'm using a bread machine that I was gifted for free, so all I have to do is put the ingredients in, let it sit for a few hours, and I have a delicious homemade 50-cent loaf of bread. I see a lot of people that grow their herbs right in their kitchen window, and I plan on doing that as I think it's both aesthetically pleasing as well as functionally useful. Cut out the small, frequent spending. And unfortunately, I'm very, very guilty of this myself. I was someone who would buy something at the gas station every single time I would stop for gas, or get a coffee every single day before I went to work. Probably because I wanted some type of reward that I haven't even done anything for, or I really just needed something to look forward to while driving to work. And even if it was just $2 here or there, just by doing simple math, I was able to realize it was well over $100 a month sometimes. I've made it a habit to take that $3 that I would otherwise spend on something and just transfer it directly into my savings in that moment. A simple habit like this gave me an actual visual representation of what I was otherwise spending and am now saving. Pay more but less often. And I understand this might sound like a direct contradiction of living more frugally, but hear me out for a second. I've preached many times about choosing quality over quantity. And as someone who considers themselves a person who lives frugally, I'll explain why sometimes it makes more sense to spend more money. I feel like with most things in life, you do get what you pay for. That's why when it's something that I use every single day, I try to pay more attention to the quality and potential lifespan of it rather than the price tag. And this will be the last time I use my Hydro Flask as an example for anything, I promise. But this thing was, I think, like $40 over 6 years ago. And let me tell you, I truly do beat the hell out of this thing. For the length of time I've been using it and the price, it's costing me something about $6.60 per year. And that price will only go down for each year that I end up owning it. My point is, I gain the most value with my money when I prioritize quality over quantity. With things that I use every day, things that save me time, or things that just make my life easier. I'm always looking for new ways and new practices I can bring into my life to help me be a little bit more conscious with my spending and helping me save more. So I hope you picked up a couple things from this video. As always, I appreciate the time you spent here and I appreciate you watching. If you did like this video and you like this type of content, be sure to like and consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you next time.